Welcome to Country Basket Weaving. I'm your hostess, Sandy Atkinson. For this 13-part series, we'll be making 12 baskets and doing one program on fancy handles. Basket weaving is fun, it's relaxing, it can be profitable, and you can create many beautiful family heirlooms, such as this cradle I've made for my daughters. This is one of the baskets that we'll be weaving in the series too. I'd like to go over some tools that you'll be needing. Most of the tools you'll be able to find right around your house. We're going to need scissors. These are reed cutters, an optional item at this point. Here we have a pencil, needle nose pliers, knitting needle. These are clamps, large clamps, kind of an optional item. You won't need them for a while, but you will need lots of spring-type clothespins. You'll also need a sharp knife, a flathead screwdriver. This is a small one with a long shank. It works just really good. You will need an awl, and you will also need a tape measure. This one is for sewing, and it's plastic. You can use a cloth one, but this type works the best. You'll also need a towel. We're going to work in water. I have several buckets here. You'll only need one. Fill it about 3/4 full with warm water. I have made up here a board to kind of familiarize you with, whoops, let me turn around here, with some materials that we use in basket weaving. We have here our flat, sometimes referred to as flat flats. They're flat on both sides, ranging in size from 3/16 up to 1 inch. This is a new material on the market. It's called oval on both sides. Then we have our flat ovals, flat on one side, oval on the other, ranging in size from 1/8 of an inch up to 5/8 of an inch. Here we have some seagrass. These are just fun things to put into your basket. This is size 1, there's a size 2, and then we have a size 3 here. Something else that's fun is our raffia to put into baskets. We also have our we have our rounds over here, starting with size 0, going up to number 12. Now keep in mind, these are just some very common materials. There are common sizes. There are other sizes available. Here we have our ash, and ash is a beautiful material to work with. We also have here our tulip poplar. If you need a wider strip in the basket, this works fine. It can be up to 2 inches, and you can paint on it or stencil on it. And over here we have our caning. This is 3, 4, and 5 millimeters, the most common sizes. This is kind of like the Cadillac of your basket. It's used for trim work, and it's really beautiful. It comes from the outer bark of the reed as it grows, and it's more expensive, so it may be something you want to hold off on and get into a little bit later. As we do the baskets each week, I will give you a cut and a material pattern, and I'm going to show you that now. For the basket, we're going to be making this basket here. It's an envelope basket, very simple, basic basket to get started with. You are going to need 1/2 inch flat. Remember, it's sometimes referred to as flat. You'll need to take cut 16 pieces that are 24 inches long and 1 piece that is 20 inches long. You'll need 1/4 inch flat, and you will also need number 2 round. When you go to purchase your materials from your local craft store, it's going to come in a coil. This is my number 2 round in a coil, and it's going to come in a hank. Pull out a piece. We'll start with the hank piece, and these are going to be long strips. Pull out a piece. Pull them out one by one. You'll have more control over your hank that way. Taking your tape measure, you're going to cut off a piece that is 24 inches long. And I tell my students to put an X on this first piece, which I've done here, with a pencil. We always use pencil, never ink. That way we can erase it or it'll wear off eventually. Taking the piece with the X on it, we're going to cut 15 more pieces, so we have a total of 16 pieces. Now I've already done this and put mine to soak. On our coils, there's going to be lots of string and lots of reed holding this together. When I can, I save the string, throw it in my toolbox. Later down the road, I'll be able to show you some ways we can use this string to help shape our baskets. I'm going to cut them all off. Cut off these pieces. There's another piece holding it together up here. Now you'll see some more reed that's twined on here. We're going to come in and cut these off. These are just for shipping purposes to keep it together, but we really don't need it when we start working with it. It's kind of like working with spaghetti, dried spaghetti. It will break, so you want to be a little gentle with it. Now come in here, and again we're going to pull out one piece at a time. That one came out real easy. They won't all come out that easy. But you'll have some shorter pieces in here too. Work with those first. Try to keep your coil together because it will get uncontrollable if it gets too messed up there. Then take your piece and you're going to coil it back like this. Take a clothespin and hook it together and put it to soak in your warm water. Reed has a right and a wrong side. For this pattern, and the patterns will vary, we're going to mark our centers on the wrong side. So we'll take our pencil. We have a piece here. The rough side or the wrong side is rough and this right side is smooth. Sometimes it's hard to tell which is rough and which is the right and which is the wrong side. So I'll show you this all in one step here. We're going to mark our centers by lining up our ends here. Take our finger up here, put a pencil mark across here. If you get some little hairs when you bend this, there's some little hairs showing there, that is your wrong side. That's just another way to check and make sure you have the wrong side. I want you to mark all your pieces on the wrong side. I'm going to take mine out of the water. You're going to need a weight. I've chosen a dictionary here. Try not to get it too wet. And I'm going to take 8 pieces and lay under the tips underneath my dictionary with all my wrong sides facing up. My pencil lines are going to form a straight line across here. You can see the little hairs popping up on here. That indicates that that is the wrong side. There's 8. Taking another piece, because these are all the same length, and we're going to weave this in just a basic pattern of over and under. Taking the center mark on this piece that's going horizontally clear over to the left side. This piece is split, but I don't think it's going to hurt the basket because it's up towards the top there. And we're going to weave this again just in a basic pattern over and under. I'll work a little faster. I'm not worried about spacing. You notice my spacing is not very good right now. I'm not worried about it. I'm going to go back in just a second and respace them. What I do is I take a piece of my 1/2-inch scrap that is probably 6 to 12 inches long, and I'm going to write 1/2 inch on it, and every time I add a new size I'm going to take a scrap piece. Oh, I've got another split on this one. And I'm going to keep those pieces in my toolbox so I automatically have a spacer whenever I need it. And here's the piece. This is just a scrap piece that I've written 1/2 inch on. Starting up here at the top, I'm going to space this 1/2 inch. See how easy that goes? So every time you add a new size to your collection of reeds, you can always take a scrap piece. This one needs to be pulled down a little. Starting over here at the left where I have all my center lines, I'm going to again space going to the right. I can move my dictionary out of the way here. Give me a little more room. A kitchen table is a good place to weave. After I get this spaced, I'm going to take 4 clothespins and I'm going to clamp my 4 corners. That looks pretty good. Come up here and I'm going to clamp my 4 corners. Then I'm going to turn this around. So I have my long pieces down here where I am and my short pieces up at the top. Can we see that? Starting here at this corner that's closest to me, the one that is under, this is my under piece here. That one's going to fold up and follow itself right up. Coming over to this side now, I'm going to fold this one up. Make sure you start with the under piece. I come back here. This piece right here is the one I started under with, right here. So this one has to go over. And again, we have our spacing all done so they can just follow themselves right up. We'll have our spacing done on this next part. This piece goes over, so this one has to go under first, and then over the next piece. Come back to the right side. This one's under, this one's over, so this one must go under. It's just every other one. Over, under, so this one has to go over. Under the next piece, over the next piece, and just keep working them out. Again, this last one I did was under, so this one's over, under, over. Each time you'll be picking up a new piece, you'll have to work that piece out until there aren't any more overs and unders. I'm going to work this a little bit. I think you should have the idea of what I'm doing now. Don't be afraid to put a little bend on it, a little crease in your edge there. I'm over here. This one's under, so my next piece is over. The second one's under, over and under. And again, watch your lining. You've already done your spacing. You won't have to go back and do it again. Come back here. When you get to your corners, take your clothespins off. Almost finished. One more to do. I'm going to come back and just straighten out my spacing a little bit. Take off my corner here. This one goes under. This is called an envelope basket because it kind of looks like an envelope here when we get this part. Then I'm going to open this up a little bit. Watch my spacing. The next part we're going to work on is our twining. Come in here and get that piece of number 2 round that we put to soak. And I want 2 different end lengths with a center crimp. And when I tell you that, I want these 2 ends here. I have an end here and an end here, 2 different end lengths. Draw it up till you find your center. And to put a crimp on it, you simply take your needle nose pliers and give it a squeeze. That will allow it to bend without breaking. We're going to start away from our corners and in the middle. So I'm going to choose this one because I'm weaving around and we'll be coming up on the left side. I'm going to loop it over there. I kind of got my finger back here to hold it all together. And I'm going to take the piece on the left. It's going around the next empty spoke, behind that spoke, and back to the outside. I'm going to hold this one down with my thumb so as not to pick it up again. Take the one to the left behind the next empty spoke. Hold this with my thumb, behind. Now when I go around this corner, I'm going to follow the very same pattern. Here's the one on the left. It goes behind. Come back and look that we don't have too much of a gap in here. And again, I'm following the same pattern. The one on the left is always going to go behind the next empty spoke. And it really helps to hold that one down with your thumb also, the one on the right. When you come to this type of a corner here, you're going to have what I call a regular or an irregular corner. And you'll have to stop and think and decide which one it is. If I bring this piece down, as I would normally do, it slides under here, and we don't want that to happen. So what I have to do is come to the left, bring this one around first, then come back and get this one, which is now on the left, and take it behind. Go right back on your original pattern. And we're going to twine this one out. We're going to do 3 rows, watch your corner, 3 rows of twining. Watch this corner here, it's just a regular corner. And I want to show you also what happens when we run out of a weaver. These are now my weavers. That's what I'm weaving with. Okay, again we have another corner here. If I was to be on this pattern, this one slides under and we don't want that to happen. I have to come up here, take this one on the right around first. This is our irregular corner. Then come back and get the one on the, which is now our left, and continue weaving. This is a good spot to show you how to add a new piece. When you run out of a weaver, go get another piece. Now this one's kind of broken and bent, it's shabby, so I'm going to simply cut off that end and discard it. I'm going to come in here and pick up with my left thumb the piece that ran out. And that creates a little hole in here. Stick in your new piece, come back here and hold it with your finger so you don't pull it out when you weave, and just keep right on weaving. This little piece here, we can go back and we'll trim it later. If I had ran out of a piece up here, right on the corner, I simply would have woven back and inserted a new piece here. Try not to add new pieces on your corner. They don't stay in good. They'll just pop out. So backtrack or try to make it around your corner. Go right back on your pattern and continue weaving. We'll go through it one more time. Hold this one down with the right. The left one goes behind. Then hold this one down. Always picking up that left one. And you're going to continue. And you're going to weave 3 rows of twining. And watch your corner. When you come to your corner, you must follow the very same pattern you followed around the first time. I came over here and took this one around first, then came and got that one, which is now on my left, and continued weaving. Your corners should be every other one. They should look like this. Okay, can you see it? If your corner looks like this, it's done wrong. So that's a good way to explain it. Okay, again I have to add another piece. I'm back far enough, and this is not an irregular corner, so I'm going to add it there. One more time, pick up this piece, it creates a hole, insert your new piece, come back here and hold it with your finger, and continue right on. Okay, you're going to do 3 rows of this. I've already done my 3 rows on my next basket here. So I can just assume that's done. We're going to kind of squeeze it and open it up, bring it around here, and now we need to do our tucking. We need our flathead screwdriver and our scissors for this part. We're going to bring this piece over here, and we need to, that one's just barely long enough to slip under here. So what I need to do, I would like to have tucked it there, but because it is so short, I'm going to come up here, clip it here, and tuck it under this one here, under this over one. Come back to this side, and that one's going to tuck here. Cut it off. We try not to have our ends show. Sneak them under there and hide them. Come back to this side again. I have another short one, so I'm going to have to. If you can, go to this longer one. I hope you can see what I'm talking about. I would prefer to go to this one, but because I have a short one, I'm going to tuck it under this one here. And this one is plenty long. It tucks here. I want you to keep working back and forth until you have these all tucked in, all the way around the basket. If it dries out on you as you're working, simply dunk it back into your, this one's the right length, simply duck it back into your bucket of water. This one's going to tuck here. And just keep working that until you have them all tucked in. I have just 5 more to tuck here real quickly for you. Cut it off. It's too long. I don't want that end to show. Here's a longer, well, that one's kind of short too, so I'm going to have to shortchange it a little over here. Tuck it in here. Keep that in just long enough so it won't show. Now, over here, I've already tucked in these pieces, so what I have to do is come back here, unweave this piece to put this one in. Slip this one in here, then put this one back in. Bend this one here, and I've got the same problem, so I'm going to take that one out, stick the one under there, then put this one back in. If you have a hard time picking these up, use your screwdriver to lift them up for you. Sometimes they lift easy enough just using your fingers. And this one slides under there. Then we're done with the tucking. Straighten your basket back out. Now we're going to add your handle. That's that piece that I told you to cut 20 inches. I want you to come in here, and I want you to taper this down on both sides, about 4 inches. And we're going to do that on both ends. Okay, taking your knitting needle now, this will open up this hole. Right in here, we have a hole. We need to create a bigger hole. It's where our twining and our flat reed come together. With the this is my wrong side up. Insert that piece right in there. Bend it up. Now my right side is showing. And put a clothespin on it. Turn it over, and we're going to do the same thing. Open this hole up here. Put our flat end in there. Give it a little pull. Give it some length. And again, put another clothespin on it. Now, we need that 1/4 inch piece. I want you to find your wrong side. The wrong side is going to face out. This is my right side. It's going to face the basket. And I'm going to do what I call a miter here, which is simply a bend over, and that now brings my right side to the outside. I'm going to wrap this handle. This handle just is a basic wrapped handle. My tail is up here. I'm catching the tail as I weave. I'm going to butt these ends together, not overlapping them, just butt them up and do this wrap. And as I'm doing this now, you can see I'm catching that tail that I started with. I can take my clothespin off now. I'm catching the tail from my 1/4 inch. I'm also underneath catching this tail from the 1/2 inch. I want you to continue this wrap all the way across to the other side. And again, just butt them up. And I'll move on to my next basket. I already have this done to the other side. I've wrapped this one all the way to the other side. I'm now down to where I'm be finishing. I'm going to wrap until I just can't wrap any farther, which is right there. Turn the basket to the inside. We can cut off some of this length. Leave yourself about 8 inches. And as you cut it, cut a point on it. See that point? Come around here. Taking this point, we're going to insert it up here. And come back here, unweave about 4 rows. You need to go up at least 4 rows. Keep pushing that end up. Find the end, push it out. Here it comes. Now go back with your fingers and tighten back down these 4 rows that you just untightened. And come up here and give this a yank. Now that doesn't look real neat to me, so I'm going to come back and I'm just going to keep working this. See this gap I got here? Keep working it out and give it a yank. Let me give it a hard one here. Okay. Come in here with your scissors and get in there just as tight as you can and clip that piece off. Now you'll notice you'll have a lot of hairs perhaps sticking out on your basket. Just come in here, trim these hairs off, and also you'll have some probably lengths where we added a new piece. If I can find it here. Not on this one. Let me come back here. Remember where we added a piece here of our twining? We want to come back and we need to get rid of these. So what we're going to do is we're going to come in here at an angle and snip them off. They're going to lay nice and flat in there and nobody's going to see them. That's how we trim up those pieces. And again, you can just kind of set and do your, trim off your little hairs on there. Push my mess out of the way here. I'd like to show you some hoops and handles that we will be working with in our other shows. This one here is a swing handle. It has holes that were drilled down in here, and this is a dog's ear. It has notches on it. You're going to slide this in here. You'll do it on both sides, one over here also. And this will insert down in your basket, and this makes a swing handle. Another type of swing handle is this one here. This one's already pre-built. You'll find different baskets you'll want to use different handles on. Again, we have notches in here. This is where your rim will fit and hold the handle securely to the basket. This is a key basket handle. It's actually a D handle inserted into a hoop. This is for a small key basket. This is another notched handle. It has a center grip on it here. And here's the notches down here. Another one, just another different style. A little different center grip here, notches here. This is a handle insert, something we'll be working with later on. This is a square hoop. These all come in different sizes. Here's a hoop. It comes 3-inch all the way up to 24 inches. This is a D handle here. This one happens to be dovetailed. A D, it gets its name for the shape. And this one is just another notched handle. The basket that we'll be making in our next program is our Granny Market basket. It's this one, again, a basic, simple basket, one of my favorite. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. I'm really looking forward to seeing you next week.